The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke.
Glory to you.
The apostles said to the Lord, "Increase our faith." The Lord replied, "If you have faith the size of a mustard seed, you would say to this mulberry tree, 'Be uprooted and planted in the sea,' and it would obey you. Who among you would say to your servant, who has just come in from plowing or tending sheep in the field, 'Come here immediately and take your place at table'? Would he rather not say to him, 'Prepare something for me to eat, put on your apron, and wait on me while I eat and drink? You may eat and drink when I am finished'? Is he grateful to that servant because he did what was commanded? So should it be with you. When you have done all that you have been commanded, say, 'We are unprofitable servants. We have done what we were obliged to do.'" The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
My brothers and sisters, in today's Holy Gospel, Jesus says that if only we had faith the size of a mustard seed, we could do miraculous things. Now, a mustard seed is a little bit smaller than a rosary bead. And it's this powerful prayer that is the rosary that I'd like to preach about today, as we are in the month of the Rosary, the month of October, dedicated to this powerful, powerful devotion, which really, through the admonitions of popes for centuries, has become more than a devotion. It really is a particular way of meditating upon the gospel, meditating upon the Word of God, and meditating upon the great piece of art that is our Mama Mary, this woman who is our mother. The second half of the gospel, Jesus warns us about confusing action with love. Confusing action with love. Now, if we truly love someone, if we truly love something, we will work for them, we will be present to them. But for the Christian, it's not first of all what we do for God that matters most. It is the giving of our heart to one who loves us. Remember that very sobering scene in the gospel where Jesus on Judgment Day says to those around him, "Away with me into the fire prepared for the devil and his angels." And the response rightfully is, "Wait, what? Didn't we preach in your name? Didn't we heal in your name?" And Jesus will say, "I do not know you. I don't know you. You did all kinds of wonderful things, but you never loved me. You never spent time with me. You never thought of me. You only thought of yourself." My brothers and sisters, to love requires knowledge. To love requires a kind of knowing of the one whom we are to love. And that is the power of this beautiful sacramental, this powerful weapon of the spiritual life that is the Rosary. It's a contemplative prayer. Now, don't be misled by this word contemplation. Certainly when I think of or hear this word contemplation, I first of all think of Teresa of Avila or Therese of Lisieux or John of the Cross. But what I mean by contemplation is simply, no more and no less, meditating, imagining, thinking about the mysteries that we commemorate with this powerful prayer. And again, in a particular way, contemplating the face and the life and the faith of Mary, our mother. Our Blessed Mother is a creature like us, the greatest of creatures, but struggled like us. Not indeed to the point of sin. Mary never said no to God in anything, no. And it's true, our Blessed Mother was preserved from the fall. She did not suffer from concupiscence that comes from original sin. But she also had to bury her child. She held in her arms her dying son. In that mysterious scene where she comes looking for Jesus, she is told, "Who is my mother? Who is my brother? These around me," and she is shut out. She does look for her infant child for 3 days, and when she finally finds him, it's not given words of comfort, but rather, "Well, didn't you know I was here? Come on." Mary suffered. Mary was not made of porcelain. And indeed, in some sense, in a mysterious way, I would offer, she still suffers, in the sense that one who loves another suffers when they suffer. So as we meditate upon this woman, as we meditate upon the Mother of God and our mother, we are drawn up into the question, what kind of a God uses one like this? A young teenage girl to bring about salvation. What kind of God uses a simple Jewish woman to make the devil tremble? A God of tenderness, a mysterious God of mercy, a God who chooses to use the ordinary and the weak and the normal to effect the miraculous. This is the kind of God that we are drawn up into an encounter with these beads. Now, I will be the first to say that I don't always find these beads very easy. To pray the rosary requires effort. Certainly it requires effort on my part, because my attention span is about the length of a tweet, okay? And this rosary requires more than a tweet. It requires some attentiveness and meditation and some level of quiet, some level, although we'll get back to that when we talk about the family rosary. My dear brothers and sisters, I remember very well being told by my spiritual director in the seminary, Father James Stromberg, may he rest in peace, wonderful philosophy professor of St. Thomas. And he told me some spiritual tactics that I try to remain faithful to even now. Daily spiritual reading, daily Eucharistic Holy Hour, regular confession, and the daily rosary. Now, when he told me this, the daily rosary, as a young seminarian who thought that he had it all together, I kind of scoffed. The rosary? Isn't this the prayer of old ladies, the rosary? Now, I grew up in a pretty pious household. My 2 sisters are nuns. But the rosary was not, let it be admitted, a part of our regular life of prayer. And so it's difficult to get into the habit of the daily rosary. But over my life as a priest, my 13 years as a priest, I have seen again and again and again that those who are committed to the daily rosary, the regular recitation of this powerful prayer, are the ones who are most able to deal with suffering well, are the ones who are able even to laugh in the face of misfortune, are the ones who are able to be compassionate to those who betray them. Now, certainly, those who recite the daily rosary are sinners like the rest of us. And yet, by the faith of the mustard seed, they have been able to move a mulberry tree in their life, to move grudges, to move hurt, to effect even miracles. Believers who pray the rosary with regularity are 9 times out of 10 more prepared for death than those who do not. Now, allow me to offer some practical points, especially as someone who himself struggles with this devotion but recognizes its profound importance. I urge you all to own your own rosary. And if you don't have one, pick one up. We got a big old box of them over by the chapel. And don't be afraid if it's made out of plastic, okay? Don't be convinced that you need a real fancy rosary, because you don't. In fact, quite frankly, it's oftentimes the more fancy ones that get tangled up. You know what I'm talking about. But the plastic, the ordinary plastic blessed rosary, said by the poor man and the rich man alike, powerful beads, and you can grab one on the way home over by the chapel. Carry it on your person. Even, frankly, if you don't pray it every day, which I urge you to, Keep it by your person, to remind you of the woman, to remind you of your call, to remind you of your identity as a believer in Jesus Christ and in His church. I urge you to pray that rosary daily and to find some time where you can be faithful to it. First thing in the morning, in the evening, during your lunch break, perhaps even on the way to work or the way home. Find a time every day to pray this devotion. Again and again, the popes and the great saints of the church have reminded us of the power of this prayer, challenging as it can be at times. As you pray the prayer, there's all kinds of different ways to engage in it. Meditate upon Mary, the great artwork of God who manifests the tenderness of the Father. Meditate upon the mysteries, the crucifixion, the crowning of thorns, the carrying of the cross, the resurrection. Remember that these mysteries are meant for you. Jesus did this for you. I urge also our families to make the rosary a part of your life of prayer. Now, family life can be hard. Family life is chaotic. And I recognize that the idea of gathering around to pray the daily rosary might be as easy as doing home dental care, okay? It can be a challenge. But I urge you to strive to make the sacrifice of sitting together and drilling it through. Maybe not every day, although why not? But maybe every Friday or every Sunday, to make this prayer a part of your family life, even as little Johnny is crawling over the couch, okay? Just come back to it. Remember that our mother, Mary, is a mom. She knows what it's like. She knows what it is like. Full of compassion, full of patience. And even though it may not be perfect or ideal, or we're thinking about 1,000 other things, keep coming back to those beads. Pray those prayers. I can't tell you the number of times in speaking with families as they are preparing to bury their mother or their father, he was devoted to the rosary. And I remember gathering as a family for the rosary, a beautiful, warm memory that you can provide for your children with all the sacrifices that comes with it. Now, my brothers and sisters, allow me to conclude these reflections about this powerful prayer, so blessed and honored by the church, with a reminder that not only is the rosary a contemplative prayer, it is also a prayer of invocation, asking God for something. Pray for us sinners now and at the hour of our death. In our little liturgy guide, we have for this weekend a little description of the Battle of Lepanto. Very, very important naval battle in the history of Western civilization, where Western civilization was preserved through the prayers of the Rosary in a battle in which the Christian forces were gravely outnumbered. My brothers and sisters, because of this victory, we speak of Our Lady as not only Queen of the Rosary, but Our Lady of Victory. It's the name of the chapel at St. Catherine's University, Our Lady of Victory. Our Blessed Mother, the little one, fights for us. And these little beads are not unlike those little stones used by David in his battle with Goliath. How tempted we are in the face of challenge and difficulty in our lives, in our families, in our church. What can we do? What more can we do? We go right to action without beginning in the foundation of prayer and great trust in the woman who will crush the head of the serpent. My brothers and sisters, with this weapon, and it is a spiritual weapon, we will secure victory, or rather, the Lord will secure victory in and through us, and in and through our mother, Mary, who is with us now and at the hour of our death. May the rosary be a part of your spiritual life. May these little beads be a kind of a ladder that bring you right home to the mother who loves you.